I don't see the attendance sheet either.
You should be out there. It's some. It's like it's some in the back because it's still some copies I checked the other day.
I mean, every time we have events, we had a clipboard with just the attendance sheet.
Yeah.
Go ahead and start.
Oh, okay, cool. Shalom. Yahbashim Yahushua Barakatah. Yahushua Bashim Yahushua. To all my Akim and my Agwathium out there. This is I.S.U.P.K coming at you from Durham, North Carolina 919. And tonight is Wednesday night, so you know what that means. That means this is the law. Wednesday night means it's a law class. And so tonight what we will be going over is understanding law and grace. We're gonna be learning tonight what the difference is between law and grace. And I understand like a lot of people, you know, may not understand exactly what that is coming from like the Christian church or, you know, according to what the world may say about law and grace. But tonight we're gonna actually be going into the understanding and the actual definition of what these two words mean, so we can learn the actual difference between the two. And so by learning and by learning those two, we'll be able to understand the scriptures a lot better. And so tonight, also, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be hitting on two topics tonight. So law and grace is just one topic. The other topic I'm going to be addressing tonight is this so-called Asian hate, this Asian hate movement. I'm going to be addressing that tonight as well. So if you will, the first scripture I'm going to get is Matthew 5:17. Salakia. Salakia. Don't worry about that. We'll get that at the end of the class. I mean, yeah, you too wild. Yeah, but tonight, if you will, just turn with me to Matthew 5:17. Yep, I'm gonna start right there. Yeah, I think that's the same one he tested. That should be Tawab.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing. Okay, we in there. Matthew 17 and 5 and 17.
Yeah, come on.
5 and 17.
Mm-hmm. But what I wanted to address this is the reason why I wanted to bring this out tonight about this understanding the difference between law and grace is because we have this notion, us as Israelites. So anytime I say we, just for context sakes, anytime I say we, I'm always talking about a person that's Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. I just don't feel like constantly saying that every time. So when I say we, that's what I'm talking about. So anybody that's just now tuning in or just now hearing about the I.S.U.P.K or or Israelites or don't know nothing about nothing and they just now hearing about the Bible, this is who we're talking about. Because at the end of the day, the Lord only cares about one nation of people, and that's the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
That's right.
That's only the Lord. That's his people. That's our Father. We're his children. That's who he cares about. So I ain't talking about nobody else. So don't ask me about why I don't talk about the so-called white man or so-called Asian or Korean man or East Indians. I don't give a damn. You know why? Because the Lord doesn't give a damn about them. So don't ask me nothing about that. Brother, you got 5 and 17?
All
right, man, read ready. Just take your time.
Most High in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. This is Christ. It's written in red. This is Christ speaking.
Mm-hmm. And we're in what? The Old Testament or the New Testament?
We're in the New Testament.
New Testament. So here you go for you Christolites. Christians that know they Israelites.
Yeah, the Christolites.
So the Christolites.
I love that word.
Christolites and Christians. They damn near one and the same. So we're in the New Testament now. So I mean, I want to hear what the excuse is going to be now. Go ahead.
Think not that Think not.
This is Christ speaking. Christ is speaking. And for context sakes, who was Christ speaking to exactly? For people out there that may not know, the words are written in red. What does that mean?
That's Christ is speaking.
Right. That means Christ is speaking. So now we know who Christ is like it. Now we know Christ is speaking. We know who is speaking. Now the next question is, who is Christ actually speaking to?
The apostles?
More specific. Because you gotta think our people may not know exactly, who that is. Who exactly was he talking to? I mean, he was talking to Israelites. That's the easy answer.
That's
the easy answer. But specifically, who was he talking to here? Here in Matthew, this is just for context sakes. Who exactly was he talking to?
Pharisees and Sadducees.
Well, he was, but not right now.
The multitude.
Yes, but I help you out. Exactly who he was speaking to was his disciples. He was speaking to them and as well as the Pharisees. He was always speaking because that's who he rode with. He was speaking to them as well. And as a matter of fact, if we need to,
no, I see that.
Let's go to the first verse.
Yeah, the verse it says the disciples. Most high correct. The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing the multitudes
of the people. Go ahead.
He went up into a mountain.
So this is where we're at. So this is just for context sake, so we can see where Christ was physically at and who he was talking to specifically. Go ahead.
And when he sat, and when he was set, his disciples.
His who?
His disciples.
One last time.
His disciples.
So this is who he was talking to. His disciples. Go ahead.
Came unto him.
Go ahead.
Verse 2. And he opened his mouth and taught them.
And he did what?
Opened his mouth and taught them.
This is why you should be in the school. This is why you should be logged in, whether you're physically in class or you're logged in on YouTube or whatever the case may be, because we're doing the same thing that Christ did. Christ was always teaching his disciples, much like we're doing today under the leadership of Commander YAHANNA. We are teaching our brothers and sisters to this day. You know why? Because our brothers and sisters don't know the laws of the Bible. Our brothers and sisters don't know that we're so-called, that we're God's chosen people. Our brothers and sisters don't know that we're not supposed to be eating certain foods. Our brothers and sisters don't know things about, keeping the Sabbath, keeping the how holy it is. Our brothers and sisters don't know these things. So this is why we're having to be taught again, as the scriptures say. We got to be retaught again, man. We're destroyed. So this is what we're having to do now. We're doing like what I'm doing right now, what me and my brothers and what me and my brothers are doing right now, that you see how we're teaching. We're doing the same thing that Christ was doing. We're doing the same thing that Christ was doing. We're teaching just like he was teaching. So now that's just for context sake. Now drop back down to 17.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law. Why is Christ having to say this during this time? Think not that I am come to destroy the law. Why is Christ having to say that? Why was he having to say that back then, back in those times?
If I may, it could be because, so many questions are being asked to him, put to him about the law. He wanted to clarify.
Yes, but you're right. But I'm looking for a specific answer. Think about it in today's time. So, okay, do you think the disciples were asking Christ questions that were just brand new? Like in today's time, I'm trying to put it in there. Okay, put it to you like this. Okay, the questions that Christ's disciples were asking him, do you think that we ask those same questions today or not? Right. So the answer is the same things that we are dealing with today, they were dealing with back then. So the same questions that we're asking now, they were asking back then. The same things that were being said today were being said back then. So the reason, like, Christ wasn't just talking to be talking. He wouldn't just say, hey, think not that the laws are done away with. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. No, he was saying that for very specific reasons. He was saying that because the same things that were going on then that are going on now, or that are going on now and that were going on then. So how people now say, I'm saying people, but Christians say that the laws are done away with. Don't you think they were saying the same thing back then? They were saying the exact same thing back then. The laws are done away with. Oh man, that's Old Testament. Because we are in Matthew. Oh, sorry, well, I didn't need it. You know I always got water. Hey, I'm the only nigga in Israel. I drink nothing but water. But the same things that were going on now, like they were going on then. So even in today's times, like when we hear Christians say things like, "Well, the laws are done away with," or well, that's the Old Testament. Well, think about what book we're in now. What book are we in now?
The book of Matthew is in the New Testament.
Right, the first book in the New Testament. What do you think they were saying in those times? They were saying the same thing then. Like, this ain't nothing new. They were saying the same thing then. They were saying, well, you know, that's the Old Testament. That's times of old, as the Bible calls it, times of old, which we're going to read further on down. As we keep going down, you're going to see Christ. He's having to address the same thing. He's going to have to address the same thing, literally the same thing. We go, watch, you'll see. Let's just keep reading. Oh yeah, 5 and 17.
You want me to continue with 18?
No, you can start 17 over again.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets.
Or the prophets. Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. So every time me and my brothers go out there every weekend, to go out to camp and speak, to wake up our people, to wake up the dead. And what's the number one thing we got coming up against us? Not necessarily who, but what's the number one thing we have coming up against us? What are people always trying to say to us? You guys shouldn't be saying that thing. You guys are preaching hate. You guys are a hate group. And all we doing is telling our people, man, is to wake up. All we telling our people is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. That's what we go out there and do. All we go out there and do is with a mic and an amp speaker. Like, that's it. That's all we do. And people come out there and they want to tell us laws are done away with, and that's the Old Testament. And we telling our people that we to keep the laws of the Bible. That's why Christ is having to say this right now. Even amongst his own disciples, he's having to say that to them. Keep going.
Verse 18. For verily, I say,
Salak, you skip the part. You skip the part. That last part, I am not come to destroy.
Salak Yadawan.
No sweat.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Say what?
To fulfill.
But to fulfill. Now, this is right here is what get a lot of people stuck. But to fulfill, this is what a lot of Christians get stuck at. And then they always come at us and see the law wasn't complete. The law wasn't complete. See, he had to fulfill. Ain't that what they say, young Nazar? They say that all the time.
Yeah, they say that he fulfilled the law, meaning that the law is done away with.
Right. There you go. That's exactly what they say. So they'll read that fulfill, and then I think, okay, so the laws are done away with because it was fulfilled. That's what they think. But here's a question I gotta ask: what does that mean exactly? How did Christ fulfill? That's what you got to ask a Christian. Anytime a Christian, like, you really could cut them with this. I mean, if you really know what you're doing. So a Christian read this and they'll think, see, to fulfill the laws are done away with. So the question you got to ask, or the question I'm asking is, how did Christ fulfill the law? What did he do?
If I may, sir. First of all, he fulfilled the law by performing the law or doing the law perfectly. He never broke the law. So that's fulfilling the law. But also, I don't want to,
Go ahead.
He fulfilled prophecies pertaining in the book of the law about him. He fulfilled prophecy.
Yes.
That's what he fulfilled as well as doing the law.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say, by when you said doing the law, I'm gonna use word demonstrate. That's what Christ did. You're absolutely right. And that's what Christ did. By fulfilling the law, Christ was demonstrating the law. Meaning what? Let me see if we got any questions online, because I've been known to just go on and start ranting. Let me I know people are like, damn it, you didn't answer our question. So let me check on YouTube before I get checked. So let's see if we got any questions online. So again, any questions online, Facebook or YouTube, you know what I'm saying, just type them in the chat and we will get with you. But yes, but that's what Christ did. That's how Christ fulfilled the law. He fulfilled the law by demonstrating the law. Like what Christ did, Christ basically showed us the blueprint. That's what he did. For lack of a better term, Christ gave us the blueprint. He gave us the blueprint of how you do this thing, because we kept messing up. Hell, even when we had Moses, we kept messing up. Did we not? So when Christ comes here, he's giving us the blueprint. Now he's showing us, okay, this is what you got to do, because apparently we're not getting it. So this is what I'm going to do. So he came through and he started demonstrating the law, actually doing the works, actually performing the miracles. That's what Christ started doing. And as a matter of fact, so much so that even Christ himself was tempted. Even Christ himself was tempted. Even, if we could, just if you could, Yanazar, give me Matthew I think 4th chapter, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm gonna pull the scripture is I'm gonna just use this as an example. I'm gonna just use this as an example to show you that even for us ourselves, we go through things as well. So well, I was just going on there. Give me Matthew's I think 4 and 8. Start there, 4 and 8, and then I'm gonna come back.
The book of Matthew, chapter
4, verse 8.
Salakia. Give me 7. Go to 7.
Verse 7. YAHWH, Jesus said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt
Thou
the
shalt
Lord.
not what?
Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God.
What does the word tempt mean? Look it up if you need to. Look it up if you need to. Man, no sweat. Take your time. Take your time. Like I said, we ain't in no rush, man. We all here learning, man. What does the word tempt?
to try somebody. Like, well, let's get to
No, you're right. But I want to just to, No sweat.
I was listening to the general on my way down there. Okay, tempt.
Tempt. What does the word tempt mean? Because people don't think Christ was tempted.
Okay, this is the Webster definition.
Yeah.
Tempt, to entice.
To what?
To entice to do wrong by promise of pleasure or gain.
Read that one more time. Because go ahead.
To entice to do wrong by promise of pleasure or gain.
And what does that mean? To entice something or to entice someone? You could just tell me. You don't have to look that up.
To convince or try to convince someone. To entice is to convince.
Thank you. So what was going on here? What was going on here? Let's go back to Matthew 4 and 8, because Christ himself was tempted.
Right.
So because for some reason Christians, I don't know. I guess they don't think Christ was tempting himself. I don't know. But this is what Christ was saying in Matthew 4 and 8.
Verse 8. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain and showeth him all the kingdoms.
I'm sorry. 7. 7 was where he was tempted. I'm sorry. That's my
bad. Jesus said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God.
So even Christ himself was tempted. You understand? Like even Christ himself was tempted. And the reason why I pulled that scripture is just to show you an example. That and as a matter of fact, well, yeah. But I just pulled that to show you an example of Christ himself. Even he was tempted as well. But nowhere in that scripture will you ever read where he fell into that. And I also put up the word entice as well. The word entice just means to attract or to tempt by offering pleasure or advantage. And that's real. And that's a lot of what happens and what goes on in today's time. Like even when you think about the Christian church, think about that. It's very enticing, is it not? It's very enticing. They make all these promises to you. You see all the infomercials about this, what they call it, holy water or whatever. There you go, miracle water. I just saw that last night at the slave.
If I may, it was funny. The dude said, "Yeah, man, he put that water on me, and I got, what did he say? He got a check."
Yeah, he said he got his check. He didn't have to work.
Yeah. I almost fell out. And then another dude said he got his job back. And
good night, man.
Oh man, it's too much.
That's that. Yeah, but you're right. That's what that means. When you talk about something that's been tempting or enticing, it's everything that we're surrounded by, man. Like what's going on in today's time. So now let's go back to Matthew's 5 and 17.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am come not to destroy, but to fulfill.
But to fulfill, meaning what? Meaning to demonstrate the law. Like I just showed you, like we just showed Christ himself being tempted, but him himself, he wasn't tempted. I mean, he was tempted, but he didn't fall for it. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law.
Read that last part. Shall what not pass?
Shall in no wise pass from the law.
So the laws are done away with?
Till all be fulfilled.
What was that last part say again? It says no wise pass from the law. Meaning what? Meaning nobody gets a pass from the law. You know what I mean? This is ridiculous. All you had to do was just keep reading. But see, this is what a Christian will do. A Christian or somebody, that's not, that don't know nothing about the Bible will read Matthew 5:17, and they'll read that last part. I'm not come to destroy, but to fulfill. They'll read that. You know what they do, youngins are? They'll read that, and they'll close the book.
That's it.
And that's it. Like all you had to do was just keep reading. Christ literally says that no wise pass from the law. So it's ridiculous, man. But we're gonna understand, we're gonna learn today about this law and grace. We're gonna understand that today, and we're gonna get the true definition of it and what it means. Keep going though.
And verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
Say what?
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
What does it mean by least commandments? Somebody give me an example of a least commandment.
Being
like
maybe,
don't think murder. No.
I'm trying to think of something like being unbrotherly or cheating a brother.
Give me specific. I mean, I know what you mean, but give me specific, like just like okay, what is it? Leviticus, was it 17:19 or 19:17 about thou shalt not hate brother in thy heart? Yeah, like give me something like that. Just give me an example, something that I could just go right to in the Bible and read it verbatim.
Okay. Maybe
I'll give you an
eating unclean food.
There you go. So like eating pork, something like that. So maybe you didn't kill somebody or nothing like that, but maybe you ate some pork, maybe you ate some shrimp or something like that. Something like one of the least commandments. Go ahead, keep going. So it's saying if any brother, read from the top.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
So although you may not be killing nobody or you may not be a homosexual, but maybe you still eating shrimp. Maybe you still doing something like that. Something that you look at as, well, it ain't as big, it ain't as bad, but it's one of the least commandments. Go ahead, keep going.
And shall teach men so.
And what?
Shall teach men so.
So for all you theft your dollars out there and TD takes, teaching men so, teaching men and women not to keep the laws of the Bible. Yeah, this is for you. This is for you. This is who we're talking about. Got something?
If I may, sir, this scripture, this is one of the scriptures I use the most to show Christians that they're liars. Because this right here, right, is right there for the Christian to read. And they refuse to read this or to understand on any level. They just ignore this for some reason. And this is it right here. Because it's saying right here, if you commit one of the least sins and teach men so, which the Christian pastor does every day.
Every day. You're absolutely right. Every day. That's what they do. They teach men so. They teach men and women so. So when you want to, and I'm glad you brought that out, because like a lot of times when we go to camp and stuff, right? Every now and again you'll have, a pastor, a so-called Christian pastor or whatever. But a lot of the times it's really the followers. A lot of the time it's really the members of the churches that come up against us. Every now and again we'll have a pastor here and there, but a lot of the times we'll have those members, and or we have somebody there saying Jesus saves and all those nonsense. But you know why they do that? Because that's what they're being taught. So these just like it says in Jeremiah, woe unto the pastors Just like when you read stuff like that, like because they make our jobs a lot harder. That's why we have a main thing in here in the UPK. We are, if you ever see any of our videos, especially our old videos, we always had a saying at the beginning and the end of the video. It says that we are authorized and trained to teach. We say that for a reason. We say that for a reason. And when it says that we're authorized and trained to teach, we teach our men not to break the laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
Let me add that in there. Go ahead, keep going.
He shall be called the least.
He shall be called the what?
The least.
You should be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
In the kingdom of heaven.
For you breaking that law of the Bible, you thinking, oh, because you're breaking one of the least commandments. Well, this is what the Bible says. Read that last part again.
He shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
You should be called the least in the kingdom of heaven, man. When Christ comes back and put us back into authority, the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and we'll be under one body, one law. You'll be the least in the kingdom of heaven. That's right. Keep going.
But, and I love this part. Whosoever. Whosoever.
Now let's stop right here. This word right here is what gets. Well, I shouldn't. Let me say everybody. But this word, of course, when I say everybody, y'all know I'm not talking about brothers and sisters in the UPK. I hope I don't have to explain that.
That's right.
Okay. So, but that whosoever is what gets that's what trips everybody up. You know, that like people in the world, they'll read whosoever in the Bible, and you know what they think? They think literal. They think everybody. But this is what the Bible is saying. It says whosoever. Go ahead.
Whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
So, like, is that 19? The beginning of 19?
Yeah, that's 19.
So I can read that from top. I got lost.
Okay, verse 19. Whosoever shall break one of the least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Okay, I got you. Okay, my bad. Keep going.
But whosoever shall do and teach them the laws, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Now, here's my question to you. That whosoever is only applying to us as Israelites, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Now, this is a question that I have for people. Who is the whosoever? Who is that talking about? In other words, who's teaching men so? Who's teaching men and women to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Bible? Who is doing that in today's time? Who is doing that?
The I.S.U.P.K.
Damn right. Get a most high hand. You're absolutely right. That's who's doing that. We're doing that. We're doing that. And like we're the group of people that you see out here, we're truly putting in these works. Now, don't get it twisted. Now, you will see other people out there on the corner. You know, I'm not saying the I.S.U.P.K, we're the only people out there on the street corners. No, there's plenty of people out there on the street corners. You got people on the street corners, you know, selling, you know, whatever, selling oil, selling fragrances, selling food, selling t-shirts, selling holy water or miracle water. You got plenty of people out there on the street corner. Hey, shalom, sis. You got plenty of brothers and sisters out there on the street corners as well. So don't think the I.S.U.P.K like we're the only group out there on the street corners. No. But let me tell you this. You know the difference between us and them? Who wants to take a wild guess at this one? You want to know the difference between us and them and everybody else who's on the street corners? Somebody take a wild guess. Go ahead.
We are in the truth.
Say that again.
We in I.S.U.P.K are in the truth and are the home of the truth.
Damn right. And now explain that for people that may not understand what you mean by in the truth.
Meaning that we are taught and understand the truth of this Bible.
Damn right.
We know the truth of this Bible, and we teach the truth of this Bible every day.
And not only that, I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to add on. Not only that, we also hold our brothers and sisters accountable, something that the Christian church does not do. We hold our brothers and sisters accountable. That really goes into what I'm getting ready to hit next. Now, y'all, what I need you to do, I need you to drop down. I need you to drop down to the 21st verse. Now I'm going to get into the meat of, shall I like it? Oh, I'm sorry. Matthew's 5:21. But now I'm getting ready to get into the meat of what I really want to get into. Now I'm getting into the meat and the potatoes. Matthew's 5:21.
So Matthew chapter 5 verse 21. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time.
By what?
Old time.
Now, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. By old time, who could tell me? Let me check online. Let me make sure.
Yeah,
Ain't no question. Yeah, I got to, because I'm terrible at that. Now, what does it mean when you see that term in here, when it says old time? And this is Christ speaking, by the way. What does that term mean? What does that term old time mean? Any brother, any sister can answer. Just raise your hand. What does that term old time mean?
Nobody online?
Nah, I don't think there's nobody online. And if you could do me a favor, just check Facebook just in case. Because I don't even have the let's see. All right, I don't think there's any questions right now.
I got,
Oh, you got one?
we got Sister Kawaya. She says the Old Testament.
Yes. The water sister, you're absolutely right. Give that sister a hand for that. Because a lot of brothers and sisters, you ask that question to a lot of our brothers and sisters in the world, they don't know what that term means. They believe it or not, they don't know what that means. You know, even when we read the word heart in the Bible, you ask that to a Christian, they don't know what heart means. I mean, you read heart, they're thinking the organ pumping blood through, you know, in your chest. They don't, you know, it seems funny now, but but they don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say we're the only ones out here teaching our people.
Yeah, I don't want. It's not funny because even before I came into school, I thought it meant the heart too.
Yeah.
Come.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Until you get in here and then you learn, you get in here and you first learn, not to get off topic, but you get in here and you learn that you don't know, you know, forgive my friends, but you don't know nothing. That's what scripture says. You got to get taught again. But go ahead. Read from top, Matthew 5:21.
Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time,
Meaning the Old Testament, because they were saying this back then. They were saying some of the same things. But this is what Christ is doing. Now, this is where we get into the whole thing about when you hear Christians say, well, the laws are done away with. Oh, that's the Old Testament, because they were saying the same things then. But this is what Christ is actually doing. Go ahead.
if I may, sir.
Uh-huh.
One thing that a lot of people outside of the I.S.U.P.K do not know or do not understand is that when these things were happening, there was no New Testament. All they had was the Old Testament.
Yep.
So they had to thereby go by what was in the Old Testament.
You read them on mine.
Okay, then I'm gonna be quiet then.
You read them on mine, man. You take them out. I was in my head. You done read my mind.
Yeah, those ain't crazy.
But that's what you call being in the truth, man, and being in one body. Like, even though I'm thinking something, but you could just call it right on out. That's how you know we're in the same truth, man. But you're absolutely right. Because when, like, this is going on currently during that time. So at that time, it didn't really, it wasn't called New Testament because it was currently being written. It was currently being recorded. And this is what Christ was saying. Go ahead. Ye have heard that it was said of them by old time, talking of old time. Keep going.
Thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not kill. What does this sound like right here? Thou shalt not kill.
That's the law.
Yeah, that's the law right there in Exodus. What, Exodus, 12? What is it? Exodus 20 and 12? I believe that's where it starts at. I believe it's Exodus 20 and 12. If I'm not mistaken, I'm about sure it's 20 and 12. But yeah, that's the laws. The so-called Big 10, as they say. That's what Christ is quoting right now. So just watch. Just watch. Keep going.
Thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill, Salakia, shall be in danger of judgment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now that's verse 21. So you're listening? So that's verse 21. So far, what are we going over? Christ is talking about the Old Testament. He's just quoting or paraphrasing, a law from the Old Testament. So this is what Christians get caught up in, right? Now read the next verse.
Verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
Stop. Now let's stop right there. Now, right here, what we just read. What did Christ just do? What did he just do? We read 21st verse, right? Talking about thou shalt not kill. Okay. Then we get to the 22nd verse. Is Christ is now telling you, he's saying, but I tell you, if you're angry with your brother without a cause, read 21, 2 from the top again.
But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
Right. So now right here, when we read this, when a Christian reads this, you know what they'll think? They'll think, okay, so Christ did the law, because they're reading 22 and then they see the word but, which is a conjunction word. So they'll see, but I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause. So because they didn't see that, they now think that Christ changed the law. But the question I'm asking to my brothers and sisters who's under the sound of my voice, what did Christ actually do in the 22nd verse? Let me check online real quick. Just give the brothers and sisters, some time to answer the questions. You got something, sis? Is the mic on?
Is it?
Okay. You good?
Was he like warning us?
Yes, he was. Well, he was, but it's more. Okay, watch this. If I told you, let's say if I'm your father, you're my daughter, and I told you, if you go outside, make sure you're back inside the house before the street lights come on. Is that a warning? It's not a warning. What is it?
That's instruction.
Thank you. So it wasn't really a warning. It was more like a direction and a law. He's telling them what to do. So, but in 22, he's actually doing something because a Christian will read the 22nd verse, because you got to think, coming from the world, somebody like a Christian in the world, they don't know nothing about the Bible. Their pastors teaching them this. They already believe that there was a literal snake talking in the garden. So if you believe that, you know what I'm saying? That's in the book of Genesis. So we get to the New Testament. Ain't no telling what you believe. You probably believe Christ, God put a baby in Mary and all whatever nonsense. So when we get to the 22nd verse, you got to understand what Christ was actually doing. He wasn't changing the law. That's a freebie. He wasn't changing the law. What was he actually doing? Like, watch this. Let me give you an example. Let's say if there is a set of rules at a job, right? And let's say if I'm trying to think of an example. If I say, all right, it's gonna sound stupid, but I hope y'all catch it. But let's say if I'm some manager at IBM, right? You guys are all my employees, and there's a rule out there saying, okay, if you miss a day of work, you'll be fired. But then I come to you and I say, scratch that. If you even come late to work, you're fired. Like, what am I know that now it sounds stupid, but hopefully y'all bear with me. But what am I actually doing? Did I really change that law?
Come on. Well, you added to it. You added a new rule.
What did I really do? Like I said, okay, you don't. Again, I wish I could. I'm thinking this off the fly, so y'all bear with me. But if there's a rule at that job at IBM says, you know what, if you don't come into work, like, you'll be fired. But then I come to you and say, well, you know what, scratch that. If you did so much as come in late, like, what am I really doing though? I think about what Christ is doing. Christ is saying, first thing that Christ did in the 21st verse, he quoted the Old Testament by saying what? Thou shalt not kill. But in the 22nd verse, he comes in to say, well, if you're so much angry with your brother, think about it like this. Think about the when brothers and sisters kill one another, when we fight one another, are we not angry with each other? Right. So when Christ comes in the 22nd verse and he says, but if you're so much as angry with your brother, you're already in trouble. What is he actually doing? Did he change the law? So what did he actually do in the 22nd verse?
He's verifying the law or upholding the law, in that, because the law is rules and then punishment. That's the law.
Yeah.
The rules and the punishment is the law.
It's more. We'll keep reading. I think y'all get it on this one. Drop down to the. Give me a second. Drop down, because I'm reading along with you as well. Drop down to the. Here we go. Drop down to 27. I think this will make more sense.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old
In
time,
the Old Testament.
thou shalt not commit adultery.
Now, what is adultery? Let's just somebody get me, if you could, Baba Shah, Yanazar. I want you to find me adultery here. Well, do you have adultery? Do you have a Zondervan?
You wanted it as on the man?
Well,
I got one.
I mean, oh, you got one? Okay. Yeah, just pull up adultery in your Zondervan and pull it up as well, in Google. Matter of fact, I'll Google adultery, just, and then you just get it in the Zondervan. And then we'll just compare notes. We'll do it that way. So we can understand. You got a question?
Shalaki, I
Oh,
was
comment?
gonna say I thought that adultery was like a brother sleeping with another brother's wife
Mm-hmm.
and a woman sleeping around knowing she's married.
Yeah, there you go. Give the sister a hand. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. But we're also going to get that definition as well. But you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. Just gonna get it in the Zondervan real quick. Okay, you got it.
Kind of a con.
Yeah, and now I'm not looking at the word itself right now. Just get to the meat of it, though, if you know what I mean.
Okay. In the Old Testament, sexual intercourse, usually this is the Zondervan Bible Dictionary for the definition for the word adultery.
Mm-hmm.
In the Old Testament, sexual intercourse, usually of a man married to or unmarried, always with the wife of another.
Right, because that's what adultery is. So if a man is married to a woman and his woman goes sleeps with another man, that's adultery. And as well, a man could also commit adultery as well by leaving his wife as well. Okay, now so that's what Christ is saying here. Now let's read the 28th verse and let's see what Christ is saying.
Verse 28. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
His heart meaning what?
His mind.
His mind. So now what is the 28th verse? What is Christ saying in 28? What does that mean? What does that mean? He's saying, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, you have already committed adultery. Meaning what? Meaning you didn't even have to go sleep with the woman. Just by you thinking of that, you've already committed adultery. So here we go again. In 27, Christ is saying what? Thou shalt not commit adultery. That's what it says, right, in the Old Testament. Right. But he's coming in verse 28 saying what? What is he saying?
If you even think about it.
So what is Christ doing? What is he doing?
He's fine-tuning the law.
He's what?
He's fine-tuning it, meaning like
yes,
he's making it more difficult.
Yes.
Or more precise.
That's what he's doing. So in other words, he's raising the bar. He's upping the ante. I hope I'm saying that right. That's what he was doing. He never changed the law. He never changed any of that. That's not what he was doing. He was raising the bar. He was raising the standards. And if you look at us as Blacks and Hispanics in today's time, like the bar for us is so damn low because we don't even keep the laws of the Bible. So when a Christian reads the Bible, because a Christian, they're so wicked, they don't want to keep the laws of the Bible. The moment they read that word, but I say unto you. So as soon as they read that, you know what they think? Okay, well, he changed the law. That's what they think. And then you wonder why there's so much molestation and adultery going on in the churches right now. You can imagine why. Because when they pick this Bible up, they don't understand that. They don't understand these words. They pick this Bible up and they think, well, damn, Christ was changing the law. He was never changing the law. They'll read Matthew 5:17 and read that, but to fulfill, and they'll stop. They don't read all the way down. They don't read the rest of the verses. They don't read throughout the chapter. They'll read that and close the book, and that's the end of it. That's what that means. Okay, go ahead on the finish. Read one more time from the top, verse 28.
Verse 28. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
In his what?
In his heart.
In his heart, because that's what Christ was doing. Christ was just raising that bar. Christ was letting brothers, Christ was telling his disciples, he was just raising a bar because that's what was going on then. That's the same thing that was going on then, meaning that's what was being taught. That's the same thing that was being taught then. That's all Christ was doing. He was never coming in to change anything. So if you want to understand what this law is about and this grace, well, we're going to get more deep into this. So drop that. Give me Matthew's 19 and 17.
The book of Matthew.
Slack it. Better yet, drop that. Give me Romans 6:1. Let me just go right to it. I'm gonna go right to it to meet them status. Give me 6:1.
Romans 6:1.
Yeah, just give me 6:1. I'm gonna go right into it. And matter of fact, I'm gonna get it with you. I'm gonna read along. Just get me Romans 6:1. I ain't gonna do that. Cause I got two topics and I've been known to like go over the time. So
6:1.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 6:1.
The book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 1. What shall we say then?
Mm-hmm.
Shall we continue in sin?
Shall we continue in what?
In sin,
Mm-hmm.
that grace may abound.
Now, this is the same thing that Christians always say. Well, we're not under the law, we're under grace. It's the same thing. We're gonna read that in the second too. Shall we continue to sin? Now we're not under the law. Now we're under grace or whatever. It's the same thing that they may say, but no, that's not true. That's not what you do. As a matter of fact, let's get the definition of that. First of all, do brothers and sisters know what sin actually is according to the Bible? Because I know Christians don't know what that is. Christians say it's forget how they word it. They word it funny.
They say something like, if I may, they say something like, it's anything that is against the word of God. The will of God.
Yeah, it's something that's very,
vague.
very. Yeah, sometimes it's like, but that ain't. In the Israelite school, universal practical knowledge, man, we are taught to break down what things mean. Okay, even if it means you gotta Google it or look it up, but do something. We don't just pull things out of our ass. Excuse my French. Like we don't need our mouth to speak. So can you pull up sin in the Bible? Get me what is it? Give me 1 John. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you already know. And let's just read what sin actually is before we even continue. Let's just learn what that is, because we gotta understand what the law is and understand what grace is. So just give me sin for right now. Sin in your
the book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law.
Mm-hmm.
For sin is the transgression of the law.
And what is transgress? Transgress just means to simply go against. That's it. So just like I said earlier to you, sister, if you're if your parents were to say, hey, if you go outside, make sure you're in before the street light come on, and you're still outside, past that, what did you just do? You transgressed the law. You went against what your parents told you. That's what that's saying. Now finish reading Romans 6:1.
What shall we say then? The book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 1. Salakia. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
So they're asking the question. Somebody's asking the question. Go ahead.
Verse 2. God forbid.
Meaning what? Meaning God no. Keep going.
How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein?
And this is what Christians get stuck at right here. Now I'm gonna need for you to drop down to 15 because we're gonna understand what grace is.
Verse 15. What then?
Question mark. What then?
What then?
Mm-hmm.
Shall we sin because we are not under the law?
Because we're not under the law. This is what they'll tell you. We hear this all the times because we're not under the law. But we get ready to understand what this law and grace is. Go ahead.
But under grace, God forbid.
God forbid, meaning God no. Let me explain to you what grace is. Now, I pulled up the definition. This is what grace means. So I get. Grace is just forgiveness. It's a time frame. It's like it. Grace is just a time frame. That's all grace is. Grace is just a time frame. That's all that is. To understand what grace is and law, grace is just a time frame. It's a time frame for you to get it right. That's all that is. That's what that means. So just like this. How many of y'all got a car? By show of hands. Pretty much everybody, right? Okay. How many of y'all got a cell phone bill? Everybody. Okay. Now every month you have something that's called a bill. Do you not? Now whatever that date is due. I know we don't like paying it, but you got, hey, look. That's how you know we Israel. We don't like paying it. If you me, I'll wait till the day of. That's just me. But look, but we all got a cell phone bill, we all got a car insurance bill, or whatever the case may be. Now, let's just say if your bill is due on the 5th, right? Or that day come, or like the first come. Usually they send you some sort of email, text, or some sort of notification, let you know, hey, your bill is due within like a week or whatever. So you get like a little notification. Now, what happens if the 5th comes and you don't pay that bill? What usually happens? Dealing with car insurance specifically, what usually happens if you don't pay that bill? You got a question or comment?
Oh, no, I was gonna say it lapse.
So that immediately happens if you don't pay that bill?
No, they give you like a grace period.
Say what? Say what? Say what you
Say
said
that again.
They give you a grace period, sir.
Thank you. And thank you. Give her a hand. That's what I'm looking for. That's what they give you. Now, so like it. 1 second. Now, sister, explain to me, what does that mean? Because you said grace period, did you not? What does that mean?
That means though that even though you wasn't able to pay it on the 5th, they're gonna give you 5 more days to come up with the money.
That's exactly what that means. So even though I know my children effed up, even though I know y'all don't deserve that, I'm gonna give y'all grace period, which means what? Meaning I'm gonna give y'all time frame. Now, the only difference in this situation when in terms of the Bible is we don't know the time frame. That's the only difference. That's the biggest difference. We just don't know that time frame. Because the problem with us as niggas, you know how we are. You tell me, she said,
Nah, you right. Hey, that's the realness. That's the realness.
The problem with us is this. If you say you got 2 weeks to get your stuff together, what you think niggas gonna do? 2 weeks is 14 days. What do you think we gonna do? We gonna wait 13 and a half days. We gonna wait 13 and a half days. I did the same thing. I did the same thing when I was in college. I did the same thing when I was in the house with my parents. I did the same thing. Hell, even it, you know what? I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna throw somebody on the bus. I was gonna say, even in the truth. But nah, that's just how it is, though. That's us as Israelites, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's us. But that's how it is when it comes to the Bible. So whenever we read this about grace in the Bible, that's all it's referring to. It's not this because we have grace period. Now we're supposed to continue in sin. But that don't make sense. If that was the case, what was the whole purpose of Christ coming in? So Christ is supposed to sacrifice his life. And then right after that, we just continue in sin. We on the grace now. Like that don't what? Like and let me also say this. What was the other point? I want to make sure I don't forget my point. Something else I got to hit on as well. Like grace doesn't, how can I put it? I hope it makes sense. Grace doesn't come before the law. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to say it funny, but I got to say it in a way that I know brothers and sisters will get it. But like, I'll lay that on. But go ahead.
Kind of like you say, grace doesn't come before the law.
Right.
Correct. So kind of like, if like, let's go back to the parent thing. So kind of like if my parents told me to come in before the light, right? And I know that they told me to come in before the light,
right?
But I'm like, I got 10 more minutes,
right? That's what I'm saying.
I'm just
because it doesn't come beforehand. Yeah. So, cause I know I said it kind of funny, but what I mean by grace doesn't come before the law is okay. What is the purpose of grace? Like, not what is grace, but what's the purpose of grace? Go ahead.
To give someone time.
Thank you. To give someone time for what? It gives you a time frame for what?
To get it together.
There you go. Took work right, mama. Give her a hand. She on it today, man. It gives you time to get it right. Meaning there was some error that you made. There was error that was there. So now because of that error, you supposed to get punished. But because my love goes so great for you, I'm not going to punish you. I'm going to give you grace. So how the hell could I give you grace before you ever committed an act? I can't do that. So that's why grace doesn't come before. But the way Christians make it sound, oh, well, we're under grace. So we just supposed to, no, that ain't how it goes. Like they got it backwards. They don't understand. And it's just simple things that you could look up, but they have this defeatist mentality. Like they always say things like, what is that saying? He's still dealing with me, or the Lord ain't through. He's still taking me through. All this nonsense. Like everything is on the Lord. Like it's no longer them. It's now, oh, he ain't done with me yet. And the reason why Christians would do that is because once a Christian puts that on the Lord, it's no longer on them. Meaning they're now relieved of the responsibility. It's laziness. That's why I say it's a defeatist mentality. Because when they go into things like that, oh, well, we're under grace. So now they just going to continue to sin. Like, what is that? Which is why in here, what does it say? Read it again, Yanazar. Shall we continue in sin?
What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? God forbid.
Right. That's why even then they're asking the question. Well, shall we continue to sin? Shall we continue to sin? Because that's what Christians, they thought the same thing then. They're thinking that now. That's why the scriptures say ain't nothing new done under the sun. Our people they thinking the same type of way. Because we're under grace, we shall continue to sin. So by that logic, if we're gonna go with that one, okay, when your next car insurance bill come through, don't pay it. Let's do that. Let's do it that way. Next time that car insurance bill is due, you don't pay it. Who was it? Allstate, State Farm, Nationwide. And they call you. You send an email. Well, you know what? I'm under grace right now. So you know what? I ain't gonna pay the bill. You know what that insurance agent is gonna say? Okay, I know what we gonna do with Mr. Smith. I got some of that at. We gonna drop your policy. That's what they gonna do. They're gonna drop your policy. That's what amazes me, man. You bring that same thing, that same example that I gave you. You get that to a Christian. They'll, I gotta pay my bill. I gotta pay my bill. I gotta pay my car insurance. I gotta do this. But why can't you do that for the Lord, though? As a matter of fact, what we are actually saying to the Lord when we do that? What we're actually saying to the Lord when we do that? We're actually telling the Lord, you know what? We don't need your grace. We need your punishment instead. Because you know what? Because you pay Geico, you pay that car insurance, you pay that cell phone bill, won't you not? But when it comes to the laws of the Bible, we won't keep that though. We won't keep that. You know why? Because we have grace. So we won't keep the laws because of that. So what we're actually telling the Lord, nah, we don't need your grace. We need your punishment. That's what we're really saying. I can be on this all day. Go ahead, man. You got anyone on that? Was that 15 that you read?
Yeah. That's it on that. Because if we go into 16, it's gonna pick us in a whole.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep it there for right now. I don't want to. Yeah, because I already got two topics. I ain't trying to touch. Maybe afterwards. Yeah, maybe afterwards. I try not to eat like that. All right. Let's see. I think I might have one last one before I get into my second topic. Let me see. Now we already read 1 John 3 and 4. Did you not? All right, we'll just get into my next topic. Yeah, let me go on and hit that for right now. Okay. Let me switch gears for a second. Okay. Now, here's what I've been trying to address for like the past month and a half now. This whole new thing, I'm pretty sure you brothers and sisters have heard about this so-called Asian hate. I know y'all been hearing about that one. Let me tell you something. I know brothers and sisters ain't in the school ain't doing this, but this is a message to any Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian person out there who are not in the I.S.U.P.K, who are in the world. I've been out here or catch you jumping on this damn bandwagon, this so-called Asian hate. I don't want to see that nonsense. I'm trying not to use a bunch of 3 and 4 letter words, but it's very nerve-wracking, man. It's irritating. Like I caught it, man. I saw this, and I seen so many Black people jumping behind this. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. We got our own problems to be worried about than me trying to jump on somebody else's nonsense. I seen this, man. Boy, I was like, if you could, let me see. I got a few things that I printed out that I want to go in on. I'm gonna have you Okay. We're gonna start. Let's see. I'm gonna give you that one. Oh my bad.
I'm trying to get in my drink. Can't have that.
Yeah, I got a few things. I'm not gonna have you read it all, but I tried to highlight some of that. But basically, what we're gonna do. Matter of fact, yeah, go ahead. Because what I just handed you was the
Resolution.
was the bill for the Asian, what's it called? Asian hate crime. That's what it is. Because they're considering a hate crime. So I went and found the bill. I had to print that off. So I've had that. So I want you to go and just read through some of that. I thought I had some of it. Is it highlighted?
I don't see anything highlighted.
Okay, no sweat.
Not on first page. Hold on, let me look.
Because if it's not, like I said, I'll just end up having to read myself. Like I said, because I've already been through it.
Okay.
I just been through so much. I ain't even had time to really like I wanted to. So matter of fact, if you could, Bubba Shaw, just hand me the.
Why do you want?
No, because I read myself. Because like I said, I've already read through it. So I mean, yeah, I know what to pinpoint. Now, for those of y'all brothers and sisters outside listening right now, what I'm getting ready to read to y'all, this is the show called the Asian Hate Crime Bill. This was about a shooting that happened in Atlanta. I want to say about a month, maybe 2 ago. It was a shooting that happened in Atlanta at 3 different spas. It involved a total of 8 people. Remember that number: 8 people being shot and killed. Well, here was the problem. 6 of the 8 people that were shot and killed were, take a wild guess, Asian. 6 of the 8 people that were killed were Asian. This sparked a whole movement. This is where the whole Asian hate crime comes from. This is where that comes from. This is where this whole thing started from. So within a month's time, the so-called Asian community, they done got a whole movement behind them. Not only a movement, they done got a bill, which, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Biden has to sign off on. Oops. The same guy, the Democrat, the same guy that us as blacks are saying, we got to get Trump out of the White House. We got to get this guy in the White House. He's in there now. So far, we done had how many shootings of blacks that done happened? Where's our hate bill? Where's our stop black hate? Where's our movement at? You know, all we get is Black Lives Matter, which was started by George Soros and a few feminists, which, by the way, she in trouble right now for all the money she done got in them ball houses. Only been a nigga in America that this could happen to us. I'm gonna read some of it though. Oh, somebody had a question or comment though?
No concert. Shalaki, sir, I was just gonna piggyback off what you said about Joe Biden, because remember, he was the one that was up there saying, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
I forgot about that one, sis. You damn sure right. He got look, in case my brothers and sisters don't know, y'all may not have saw this one, but he got on an interview with Charlamagne. He got Charlamagne from Breakfast Club. He got up there and he told Charlamagne this. He said, well, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Like, what? What? Which I pulled out a video last year. I don't know if you remember, Yanazar, with the same guy, Joe Biden. He was in court talking about the N-word, throwing that left and right. But I'm gonna get him here later on. Go ahead, sis.
No, I was gonna say, and let's not forget, he didn't want his kids going to school with monkeys.
Yep.
Remember that one?
Nope. Yep. And not to mention, you know, him and what's the name? Bill Clinton was working in cahoots with the hate crime. Yep. Come on, man, you can't make this up.
And he worked in, if I may, sir.
He also worked with Clinton in developing these laws that put all of these black people in prison.
Yep. The 3 strikes. That's where you get the 3 strikes off from. What? No, correct me. I'm sorry. In California, they refer to it as a 3 strikes law. Across the states, I forget what they referred to it as, but it was under the what was the term they called it? damn it, I can't think of the terminology. It's a phrase that they use. I can't think, it was in the 90s, but I can't remember. But yes, I can't remember what it was called. It was
Was it the predator? The predator? What did Hillary?
no. It was. I know what you're talking about. It was in that same category. It was for they were trying to reduce crime. I can't think of the phrase what they called it.
Shalaki, sir, is it Rico? That's
Nah.
a different one.
Rico is like racketeering.
Okay.
Yeah, that goes back to the 70s.
Yeah. Damn, I can't think right now. It's so much I got ramble in my head because I just do so much research and I can't get everything out at once. But these oppressors, man, like they're really the devil. And I'm gonna pull a few precepts just to show how devilish our oppressors are. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. So this is what the bill says. Whereas 23 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders account for 7% of the nation's population in the United States. Whereas over 2 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic in healthcare, law enforcement, first responders, transportation, supermarkets, and other service industries. Oh, I know. Oh, it gets deeper. It gets deeper. Whereas the use of anti-Asian terminology and rhetoric related to COVID-19, such as the Chinese virus or Wuhan virus, never heard of that one, and Kung flu, have perpetuated anti-Asian stigma. So in other words, what they're saying is, because I know it's worded funny, so I got to break it down in layman terms. So in other words, what they're saying are these are offensive terminologies. So the Kung flu, the Chinese virus, and all these things, it's derogatory. It's discriminating. That's what it's getting into. You know what I'm saying? Like being called a spick, a wetback, come on now. You know, but you know, let's keep it reading. But that's what it's talking about. That's what this hate crime bill is about. And again, and you can pull this up on the internet. This ain't nothing new. I just printed this off. I'm gonna keep going. Whereas since January 2020, there has been a dramatic increase in reports of hate crimes and incidents against those of Asian descent. Hate crimes. So apparently, so what was George Floyd? What was that? I guess so, Giannis. I guess George Floyd was a love crime. And you can look up what's defined as a hate crime. That ain't nothing. I mean, we can easily pull that up. I mean, come on now. What about slavery? What was that? Come on, slavery. What about Fernando Castillo? What about Breonna Taylor? George Floyd, Botham John, man eating ice cream in his home, but a bitch, it's like it. But a devil, a witch. I'm gonna call it a witch. Let me say it that way. A white, you know what? Let me call it that. Walk into a man's household, eating a bowl of ice cream on his couch, and you shoot and kill him. And you wait 15, 20 minutes before you call the paramedics. That's not a hate crime? What's it, George Stinney or Trayvon Martin? I can keep going. Like, are those not hate crimes?
Come
on. Whereas, according to a recent study, there were over 400 cases related to COVID-19 anti-Asian discrimination between February 9th, 2020 and March 7th, 2020. That ain't even a month, bro. Not even a month. February 9th, 2020 to March 7th, 2020. That's not even a month. Come on now. Whereas the increased use of anti-Asian rhetoric has resulted in Asian Americans, watch this, being harassed, being assaulted, and being I need to know this damn word. Scapegoated for the COVID-19. So in other words, they're trying to say that they were the scapegoat for COVID-19. But meanwhile, black people, we're not scapegoated for the crimes in America that goes on. That's not discrimination. Come on now. They said being harassed, being assaulted. Come on, you can't make this up. Go ahead, Yanazar. You can't make this stuff up.
If I may, so we got to remember that Moab is in cahoots with Edom on destroying Israel.
Damn so right.
So this is proof. This is more proof that the Bible is correct. And the 83rd Psalm is correct because they in cahoots where they could get a bill passed in less than 1 month, as the other one said,
Damn right.
where we can't get a bill
Damn
passed
right.
in 400
You
years.
reading my mind again, y'all. That's all you reading my mind again. How did you know I was gonna go to 83? Come on now, it's in the prayers. Why you think we say? Matter of fact, give me Psalms 83. Why do you think we read these prayers? We're not gonna read in Hebrew today, but let me. Hold on. Well, I'll just pull up on my phone.
I got it.
Because I want that part specifically, but give me a second. I'm glad you said that though about Moab and our oppressors. Like you said, they're working in cahoots.
Come on.
Right. Okay, here we go. All right, now we're just gonna read Psalms 8. We're just gonna go up to the 6. We ain't gonna go no further than that. Now let's just start. Let's start at 83:1. Psalms 83:1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Keep not thou silence, O God.
This is a prayer. This is from David. He's telling the Lord, keep not your silence. Go ahead.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold out thy peace. For the time of peace is over. Go ahead.
And be not still,
Mhm.
O God.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
A tumult. Let's look this up. Tumult. Let's just look this up and see what it means. Because we can't assume that everybody knows what these words mean. So let's just look this up. Mm-hmm. Let me know when you're ready.
The word tumult, the definition in Webster,
Mm-hmm.
disorderly agitation.
Oh, say that again.
Disorderly agitation
Mm-hmm.
or milling about of a crowd,
Mm-hmm.
usually with uproar and confusion of voices.
Say that.
Commotion.
There you go. They're making a commotion. That's the word right there. And the first 2 words in that definition was what?
Disorderly agitation.
Disorderly agitation. And I'm glad that it says that because that's what they're doing. They're causing a confusion, a disorderly. Like that's exactly what our enemies are doing to us. That's what David was talking about in Psalms the 83rd chapter. Keep going though, man, because this is what they're doing.
A tumult, and they that hate thee.
That what?
That hate thee.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Have lifted up the head.
I lifted up the head. They that hate thee. That's what they have done to us, man. They hate us. That's why you reading this right now, talking about this so-called Asian hate crime bill. They hate us, man. Go ahead, sis.
So, like you said, when it says, and they hate, and that hate thee have lifted up the head. With that import mean?
That head part, I'm gonna have to ask Captain now. Thought because I go ahead.
It means that they proud
Yeah.
of what they're doing. They proud to do it.
Con. The water for that, brother. Because that's exactly what goes on. Because even when they do things to us, I mean, I'm trying to think of that story right now. But it's just like when they kill us, it's nothing, man. Like, prime example, like you said, how when they do things, they're proud. Go back and look at that video of what's his name, George Floyd. Look at the facial appearance of George. How you say his last name? Chauvin. Look at the facial expression. What's the scripture?
I'm killing this.
What's that scripture?
That's what I was looking.
Hold on. Give me a second, because it's a precept I got to get right now for what you just brought up. It's Ezekiel. Give me a second.
35.
I think that may be the one. Hold on. Go ahead.
The perpetual hatred.
I think that's it. Because it talks about a facial appearance. Hold on. It's a precept that I wrote down earlier that I was gonna pull. I think that may be the one, but just hope that ain't the one. I can't think. Oh no, Salakia. Fierce countenance. Fierce countenance.
Oh, that's in Deuteronomy 28 and 50.
Okay. I need perpetual hatred, which is Ezekiel.
That's Ezekiel 35 and 5.
Okay, I'm gonna need that, and then I'm gonna need what did I just say?
28, fierce countenance.
Yeah, give me fierce countenance first. That's the one I need.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse, I think it's verse 49 or 50.
And it's gonna go hand in hand with this Psalms 83 about how they lifted up the head, about how they had that proud look on them.
It's 50. It's Deuteronomy 28 and 50.
Right, go ahead. Read that. I need that one.
The book. The book of Deuteronomy.
Chapter 28, verse 50.
Uh-huh.
A nation of fierce countenance.
That's what I need. What does it mean by fierce countenance? I think I probably said it earlier. I know I did. Fierce countenance. Do you know what that means? Anybody that knows?
If I may, sir.
1 second. I'm gonna give somebody else a chance. Let me check online real quick too. I know I've been neglecting them. So I get to the brothers and sisters online. I ain't mean to neglect y'all like that. So any brothers and sisters online or in the classroom that want to give it a shot about the fierce countenance, because I know I said it earlier. Go ahead. Take a stab at it. Xander, if you will read that from the top about the fierce countenance.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the persons of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Okay, now think about the George Floyd incident and think about, I don't want to get the answer, but think about the video. Think about the position the cop was in, the position George Floyd was in. And when you say fierce countenance, I'm trying to give you context clues to help you out without giving the answer. Fierce countenance. Think about the word fierce. What does it mean to be fierce?
To be fierce is to be.
Think about like somebody like, oh, that brother's fierce, man. He damn, like, motherfucker.
Oh, he's
fierce. It means to be fierce.
Not fierce. Not to be fierce.
I mean, you can look it up too.
No fear.
It's on the right path. Look it up. Look up the word fierce. Yeah. No sweat. Hey, look, ain't nothing wrong with taking a shot at it. You know what I'm saying? Look up the word fierce. I don't know how to spell it. It's in the what? F-I-E-R-C-E. Just look up the definition of fierce and then look up countenance and then just put the two together.
I got it out of one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just hold it. I'm gonna give the sister a shot. So now you got fierce. All right, tell me what fierce means.
Having or to display intense, ferocious, aggressiveness.
There you go. That's the word. Aggressiveness. So now just put fierce countenance. You may be able to figure out what that means. Fierce countenance. Just look up countenance. It's real simple.
Countenance is saying a person's face or facial expression.
Right. So now put the aggressiveness with the facial. Put those two together. Now give me fierce countenance. A fierce countenance. You just said it. Look at the definitions. No, take your time. Look. Since this is a class, we all here to learn. And no sweat.
Fierce countenance. Aggressive facial expression.
Yes. There you go. Give her a hand. That's what it is. Fierce countenance. And the reason why I went back to the George Floyd situation is look at how you say his last name? Chauvin? Derek Chauvin. Look at his facial expression. Like if I could. For any brothers and sisters listening who may not know what I'm talking, which you should. I don't know how the hell you black Hispanic in it and you don't know about the George Floyd situation unless you're living on a rock. But when you go back and look at that video, Derek Chauvin, his knee is on the brother's neck. He's like on, I can't show you because I'm at a desk, but his hand is in his pocket. His knee is on his neck. So you gotta understand, doing that, you gotta understand, you like if you're choking somebody out, you would imagine somebody would be or something. The brother was just hand is in his pocket. He's just on that, like he's chilling, he's relaxed. Look at his face, his facial expression, his fierce countenance. Look at his face. He was just, and if I ain't mistaken, I think he had a smirk on his face. So now, Yeah, I mean, like, so when you talk about fierce countenance and we're reading this and Deuteronomy, it's talking about a nation with fierce countenance. They don't have like their facial expressions. They kill us with it, and their faces just like we read in the 83rd chapter of Psalms. Like they have a proud look. They lifted up their head. They have a proud look. Because if you take somebody's life, there ain't nothing to be proud about. Like whether you did it by accident or you had to defend yourself. No, who is going to be proud about that? Who's going to be? You're damn right. Don't whisper that. Don't whisper that. Say it out loud. Like who? Like what? Damn right. That's just saying. Don't whisper that. I mean, that's who's doing that. That fierce countenance.
Shalaki, sir, with that, as you say, with his hand in his pocket and him being proud, you knew he was you. As you say, you could look and tell he was proud and he knew what he was doing. Because even when people say, "Man, you killing him," lift up, he did it.
He didn't.
He just gave a blank, fierce, like you said, countenance. Like,
yep,
he's dying.
Had no fear. Had no fear for young or old. George Floyd was in his 40s. So he wasn't he wasn't old neither, but he wasn't a young man either. 40-something years old in his 40s. Killed that man. Had a fierce countenance. But I mean, but what hate crime? What hate crime? What bill did we get behind that? You know what I'm saying? What happened to that? Go ahead.
Shalaki, sir. And on the subject, because sorry, I get a little
no, take your time.
So Shalaki, so on that note that we're using George Floyd, I used that one recently, and it coincides, like you say, and you said, sir, took a month for them to get a bill. And even though, you know, we saw the video, we watched him die on video.
Mm-hmm. Salakia, we watched him be murdered.
Excuse me. Correct.
So we gotta say that. I
murdered.
I caught myself doing the same thing. I had to say he was murdered.
Sir. And then when you sit back and you go through all the facts, because I watched the trial from day one, picking jury to the convicted on all of it. When it all boils down to it, sir, George Floyd was actually murdered over $20.
Yep.
Okay. And he was murdered over $20 from a store that we go in, and I'm saying, just using that as an example because it happens in the neighborhood.
I got you.
Every day, and feed this other nation our money every single day.
Every day.
And you knew this man. So if you felt that this man gave you a 20 and then you turn around when it's all said and done now that he's murdered and say, I don't think George knew the 20 was fake. However, instead of you saying, you know what, George, you know, I'm going to let you get the product and, you know, you bring me back my money. They hate us so much. He called the cops on George, knowing him and knowing there was a chance he didn't know the 20 was fake.
Yep.
My point is, we give our money to these people day in and day out, you know, and they hate us, like you say, and they don't give us no grace. They ready to call the cops. Or with the Asians, with this hate crime, they'll lock you in their stores if they think you stealing. I've seen a lot of videos where they, you know, beat on the sisters, lock them in when they think they stealing, and come to find out, guess what? Sister ain't got nothing in her bag.
Oh, you just and sis, that last point that you just said about how they may not have nothing in their bed, that also goes back to Latasha Harlins. That was the sister that was killed by the Korean back in like what that was in the 90s, the same year with Rodney King. Matter of fact, it was a few weeks apart before Rodney King, a few weeks before, and a lot of brothers and a lot of people didn't recognize that because that whole riot about Rodney King, Latasha Harlins was killed just 3 or 4 weeks prior, like before that. So I'm saying, like, these Korean store owners, this ain't nothing new. And I'm saying Korean, but I mean Asian, Korean, Chinese, Jap, they all the same to me. Like I'm not trying to be PC right now. Okay, I'm not. I'm throwing them all because they all. Nevertheless, they're heathens. They ain't Israelites. So I mean, they eyes do the same thing. They eat the same weird foods. They the same people to me. I ain't trying to be PC right now. And that's just ridiculous. And furthermore, so I'm glad you brought that point up, because if you think about it, in most cases, in most cases, if somebody goes into the store and they pay the clerk with a fake 10, you know what most people actually do? Like most of the times they'll just say they probably didn't even know. They don't call the police. Like almost never. They don't call the police. And I've done security work and I've seen this. And a lot of times they'll call me over. Hey, somebody paid with it. Oh, it's just $1. They probably didn't even know. Most people look at it. What was this? A bag of bread, man? Give them that. Like they're not. It's because most of the times they don't know. You get paid. I've gotten paid with fake money. I didn't even know. And it's just. And I went to the store and they be like, "Oh shoot, you didn't even know." Most people just whatever, no sweat. But like you said, but to go that far to go and to call the police and to do all of that goes a step further. That you could have said. I mean, it's a number of things that could have happened, but for you to go to that point to call the police and then to come to find out, I think they said he actually knew George Floyd, the police officer. So then we got to take that into consideration. It's so much that goes into that. That's ridiculous, man.
So like you said, they just hate us.
No, yeah, that's a perpetual hatred, which we're gonna read that too. But where we at, Yanazar? What scripture?
Yeah, we just finished Deuteronomy 28 and 50, and I'm holding Ezekiel 35 and 5.
Okay, you still got Psalms 83 too, right?
I can get it.
Okay, don't worry about it. We'll get Psalms 83 in a second, because all that correlates with Psalms 83. But go ahead, read Ezekiel.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5. Mm-hmm. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
Now, what does that word mean? What does that word perpetual mean? Can anybody tell me? If you know it off the top of your head, or if you need to look it up, whatever the case may be, who can tell me what that word perpetual means? Perpetual. It doesn't just say hatred. It doesn't just say hatred, does it, Yanazar? It says what? It says perpetual, does it not? What does that word mean? Go ahead, sis.
Never ending.
Thank you. Never ending. Never ending. Like never ending. You know what that means? Never ending means even after you're dead, like they still hate you. They still talk about you, man. Never ending. Like that's like perpetual hatred is somebody hating you in the womb. Like Jacob and Esau hating you, fighting in the womb. Hating you from the womb. Like that's never ending. Go ahead, y'all. I'll continue reading.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel
has
by force.
What?
Has shed the blood.
Does what?
Shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword.
By the force of the sword. Go ahead. Keep reading.
In the time of their calamity.
The force of the sword. Who can tell me what that sword would be today? Because we're being slain in the streets today, are we not? But are people walking around with a literal sword? Nah, they're not doing that. What would that sword be today? What are they killing us with today? It's perpetual hatred. What are they killing us with today? It ain't a sword. What are they using today's time?
Their gun?
Their gun. Their gun. Yes. Yes. Give her a hand. The gun. You're absolutely right. The gun. That's what they're using. That's what they're slaying us with in today's time. What? George Floyd, Botham John, Eric Garner. Well, they choked him out. But nevertheless, whether it's a sword, a knife, a gun, I mean, the end of the result is death. It's still a perpetual hatred. I mean, I can keep going. All right, now let's go back to Psalms 83 because this correlates with what we're reading in this so-called Asian hate crime bill. And I'm not gonna go all the way through it. I'm gonna just point out different things. I'm just pointing out different things and hypocrisies that I see in here. So we're going back to Psalms 83rd chapter. Where was that? Verse 3? Yeah. Okay.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Now, what does that mean? That crafty counsel. I think we went over that at one point too. That crafty counsel. Crafty counsel. You want to take a shot at it, Enzo?
That crafty means skillful.
Yes, skillful.
So they've taken skillful counsel, or they come up with a good plan.
Yeah. Now, skill. I'm gonna use another word though, like because in the context, it's how can I say? It's a word I want to look for. What's another word for skillful? But you mean it for like evil. Like I'm trying to say it. I lose the word at the moment, but yes, read it from the top.
For they have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Against thy people. That's what they're doing to us in today's time. They're taking crafty counsel against us. When they have all these meetings and they have all these things about, I think we talked about it the other day about taking these, I think y'all talked about it yesterday in the class about coming up with these project builders and stuff. They come out with these different plans and stuff for us. It's the same thing. That's that crafty counsel, man. Now let's just drop down. Let's drop all the way down to verse 6 where I really want to hit. Go ahead. Read that one.
Verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom.
The who?
The tabernacles of Edom.
The so-called white man. That's our oppressors right there. Edom. Go ahead. These are our enemies as well. And not only are these our enemies that David was speaking about, this is the Lord's enemies as well. Go ahead. Keep going.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites. Keep going.
Of Moab.
Of Moab. There we go. Moab. Now, who is Moab today? Take a wild guess, sis. Who is Moab today? Take a wild guess.
Asia.
There you go. The so-called the Moabites. so-called so-called Asians. And then I think what is it? I forget I think Amalek. I think that's the other ones too, if I'm not mistaken, I think Amalek is the other ones. You got the Japanese and the Chinese. But I'm just saying
Ammon is the Chinese, is the Japanese.
Okay, I knew it was one of them. But I'm just saying the term Asian to just put them all in the same boat. I ain't even gonna try to do that today. But these are our enemies, and they are, like you said earlier, they're working in cahoots. So it's no wonder why the so-called Asian hate crime bill. Who approved that though? Who approved that? Who signed off on that? Think about it. Who signed off on that? They had to be our oppressors, the so-called white man, Edomites, as the Bible calls them. So you gotta think about it. Like this ain't what's the word? Just a coincidence. We can pull this back up in the Bible. You can read this in the Psalms, the 83rd chapter. And that entire 83rd chapter of Psalms, what this is about, this was about David trying to provoke the Most High. That's what it's about. Because even when you read it, when you start from the beginning to the end, you're reading David is trying to provoke the Most High. He's trying to provoke the Lord and get him up to come off his throne. You know what I mean? It's almost like a little brother to a big brother. And you got a bully on the block. And you going like, look what it's doing. Look what they're saying. That's what David was trying to do. And that's much like what we're having to do in today's time, which is why at the end of class, we end up reading the prayers. That's what we're doing. That's what you're reading. Now let's go back to this Asian hate crime bill. I'm gonna just finish it up and then I'm gonna touch up on something else. Oh yeah, no sweat. Whereas according to a recent study, there were over 400 cases related to COVID-19 anti-Asian discrimination between February 9th, 2020 and March 7th, 2020. Whereas the increased use of anti-Asian rhetoric has resulted in Asian Americans being harassed, assaulted, and scapegoated for COVID-19 pandemic, meaning they were basically what it's saying is they feel like they have been discriminated against.
Shalaki, sir. See, I love the I.S.U.P.K. I just want to say that first.
Yeah, I'm glad you do. I love them too.
I love my home. And what we just read, right? Crafty counsel. Now, what they do is they say things and they do things and then they try to cover up. The reason why these people feel this way is because I know I'm not bugging. When this first started, that's who they blamed. Remember, it was because a lady ate some funny food and got sick and claimed it was the COVID and it was in China and they had to build hospitals in 10 days. And I mean, am I bugging or do you remember that?
Oh, I remember that because originally
it came over. It's from China. The lady ate some crazy bat food or something. Yeah, she now it's COVID. It's spreading.
Which also ought to tell you, which is why you got to keep the laws of the Bible, because I can pull in Leviticus where it says not to eat a bat. That's right. I can pull that as well.
But now they're being used as scapegoat.
Now you see why. Now, hey, look, I bet you want to keep the laws and statutes and commandments of the Bible now. You keep right on. You keep right on. Hey, look, and don't mess with me. I'll pull up how eating the parts of the pig has a certain type of worm. Come on now. Eating a certain type of worm.
I just found that out.
Yep.
That's the old
Yep.
timers,
Yep.
right? The
Yep.
tapeworm.
But like we call it tapeworm, but there's a technical difference, and there's different because there's different types of. I don't like talking about stuff like this. My skin crawl, but there's different types of parasites that's out there as well. There's all sorts of things, and yeah, that's a whole nother topic. Now I want to see if I can find it in here. But there was in total, the people that were killed in that situation, it was 8 people that were killed in total, right? Bear with me. Remember I told you, remember that number 8. There was 8 people that were killed. It was 3 different spies that this guy, I forget the guy's name. It was an oppressor, by the way. Let me throw that out there. We don't do mass shootings. Let me just throw that out there. So now it was an Edomite out there that did the mass shootings at 3 different spies, and he killed 8 people in total. And 6 of the 8 people were Asian. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they were Asian women because they were at spas. Not saying men don't go to spas, but I mean, we know majority of women go there. So I believe 6 of the 8 were all women, and they was all Asian. That's where this came from. Mind you. Now, this is where the whole movement got started at. But mind you, watch this. How many people were killed in Charleston, South Carolina in that church that Dylan Storm Roof killed? How many people did he kill?
It was Shalaki, sir. 8.
Nope.
No, 9.
Well, next time, remember, raise your hand. But no, it wasn't 9. It was 9 people that were killed, but in total, it was 12 that he injured. So meaning, in other words, he killed 9 people. Of the 12 people that he injured, 9 of them Dylan Storm Roof killed. 3 of them were injured. I guess 3 of them survived. So it was 12 people in total. But here's the question I got for you. Where's the so-called Stop Black Hate? Where's that at? Where's that at? Niggas been here for years, hundreds of years. Where's the Stop Black Hate? Where's that coming at? Where's that at? I don't hear that. I don't hear that nowhere else in the Bible. I don't hear that nowhere else. Nobody else is saying that. And you know what else I don't hear? This is what else I want to bring up. You know what else I don't hear? Whenever it comes to this so-called stop Asian hate, you know what I don't hear? I don't hear nobody going stop all hate. I don't hear that. But you know what I did hear? When I heard Black Lives Matters, which is not our movement, by the way, but when I heard black people saying Black Lives Matter, when I heard black people saying that, you know what I kept hearing white people saying and other heathen people saying? I kept hearing them say, "Oh, but all lives matter." I kept hearing that. I said, really? I kept hearing them say all lives matter. But you know what I don't hear? When people say stop Asian hate, I don't hear people saying stop all hate, which does make sense. Stop all hate, right? But for some reason, people seem to have common sense and understand when people say stop Asian hate, they're not just saying they're exclusive. They're not saying that they're exclusive. They're just saying that because of what happened for those group of people. But then I thought to myself, why can't you do the same thing when it comes to niggas? Why is it when we say Black Lives Matter, we got to get told, well, all lives matter. Blue lives matter. We got to get taught. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get told that. That's like a big middle finger in our face, pretty much. That's why I keep telling my brothers, whenever 9/11 come through, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying all buildings matters. And I don't give a damn how you feel about it. I'm going to just start saying that. From now on, I'm going to start saying all buildings matter. When people say stop Asian hate, I'm going to say stop all hate. I'm going to just start saying that. That's what I'm going to start doing. Go ahead.
Shalaki, sir. Just a real sidebar, like you bring that up, and like 9/11, Holocaust. They always want to remember that and then tell you to forget slavery. Oh, get over it.
It's ridiculous, man. It is ridiculous. That's what we're going to do, man. That is ridiculous. I'm going to just read a little bit more, man, and I'm going to just finish it out probably like with one last scripture. Got about 15 minutes to go. But I'm going to just read a little bit of this one. Now, this is what it says. In the United States District Court for the District of South Carolina and Charleston Division. So this is everything that happened. This is with the Dylan Storm Roof case. Everything that happened in Charleston, South Carolina. This is the charges and everything. This is what he went over. And I got some things highlighted in here. I'm going to just go over a little bit of things. Since this so-called Asian hate crime bill is talking about discrimination. discrimination. I'm gonna just go over it a little bit. I'm gonna just read. I'm not gonna read through everything. I'm gonna just read through some of it. I already got some things highlighted, but defendant Dylan Storm Roof is a white male who on January 17, 2015 was 21 years old. In April 2015, defendant Dylan Storm Roof purchased a Glock Model 41, a Glock 41, which is a 45 caliber. That's what it fires. In the months before, June 17, 2015, defendant Dylan Storm Roof decided to attack African Americans, hate that damn term, because of their race. He further decided that, let me stop right there. Defendant Dylan Storm Roof decided to attack African Americans because of their race. What does that sound like right there?
Hate crime.
That's what it is. It's a hate crime, which, by the way, they did charge him with hate crime. They did. Our oppressors at least did that much. But here's the question I got to ask for you. Why didn't we get a bill, though? Why didn't we get a stop hate bill or whatever you want to call it? Why didn't we get a bill? They charged him with a hate crime. They did. He got 9 different counts of murder. I think like first or second degree. It's in here. But they got him on 9 different counts. And then he got 3 other charges because he injured 3 other people who he just so happened to not kill for whatever reason. But why didn't we get a bill for that? Like, I mean, I can go on and on and on. Where's our bill? Where's our stuff at? Like, they did all this within a month's time frame when it came to with the people that to the so-called Asian hate crime. They did that. Like, they did all that within a month's time frame. Like, that's ridiculous. But yet, Emmett Till. Do you not know they had a bill for Emmett Till? They've been trying to get that for the longest time. I think they may have just now signed it. I don't know if they did or not. They may not have. They've been trying that for years. Years for Emmett Till. They've been trying that for years. I wanted to bring that up too, but I knew I wouldn't have enough time. They've been trying to do it with Emmett Till for years, and I'll go back home and do some more research to see if they actually signed off on it. But they've been trying to do that for years. But yet, when it came down to Asians, when it came down to this, they did all this within a month's time frame. What does that really say about the people? What does that really say about these heathen nations of people? But yeah, us as blacks and Hispanics, we want to jump on the bandwagon. And I think LeBron James and Rihanna want to sit out there and tweet stuff. Oh yeah. I don't be on Twitter like that, but I see the stuff. And I'm looking at these other celebrities that would put stuff out there. And I'm like, it's amazing how we jump on these bandwagons, man. It's amazing. You had something you want to say, Yanazar?
I was going to say one of the things about the whole Asian bill thing that we should take note of is that they got this bill passed and they're not even a powerful voting bloc. They don't even vote. You understand? And they were able to do this because they're in cahoots with the Edomites. And the Edomites, even though they have a hatred for them, it's not like the hatred that they have for us, man. You understand? Their hatred for us is everlasting, as the sister said earlier. They will never stop hating us, and they hate all the other nations, but they don't hate anybody more than they hate us.
Man, that's crazy. I'm so glad you brought that up, man. Because like you said, the so-called Asian, and that's a heavy point that you brought up, because the so-called Asians, like you said, you ain't never heard of the so-called Asian vote. What group of, what politician is trying to get the Asian vote? Seriously. Have you heard anybody trying to campaign, trying to get the Asian vote? Asian vote or the Arab? Seriously, have you ever heard of that? But that ought to tell you something, though. But we as blacks and Hispanics, we focus so much on vote. We need to vote. We need to do this. We need to make law. We need to vote. We need to get these laws changed. But let me tell you something. We voted for Joe Biden. I shouldn't say we, not us in here in the I.S.U.P.K, but I'm saying we as a whole. We as a whole wanted to vote for Joe Biden because we thought voting was going to get something done. We thought voting was going to change by getting another oppressor in the White House. But yet, Joe Biden, we done put Joe Biden in the White House. He done been in the White House, what, how long? 90 days? Okay, yeah, about 120 days. He been in there about, give or take, 100 days.
Like 4 months.
Yeah.
20th to right now.
Okay, so we say roughly about 100 days. We done got Joe Biden in the White House. He been in there about 100 damn days. He ain't got nothing done for niggas, but yet what happened to Asians within a month? He done got that done. But we think that voting is supposed to change something, get something done. But meanwhile, the main people that vote don't get nothing done. But the group of people that don't vote done got something done less than a month. And niggas been here over 400 something damn years. Go ahead, sis.
Not only that, sir, you know, passed the bill in a month, and what? Just what's today? Wednesday? I think it was what, Tuesday, Tuesday. He just gave what, Israel 735 million.
Yeah, you're right. And that's just that's on top of what they already getting. And one congressman who's they're going to destroy him. He's trying to stop them from getting that money.
Hold on, you said this is in Israel?
Israel.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Israel.
Yeah.
What? Hey, Yalazar, what group of people is over there? What heathen nation is over there?
Amalek. Most of them are Amalek.
And who? I know Amalek is over there, and I thought Ishmael was over there too.
But Ishmael is the Arabs.
Well, I thought some of them was in Israel too.
Well, the Palestinians are not necessarily, they're Arabs. You understand? But they carry the name of the Philistines, whose land it was originally.
Oh my
but
God.
They are actually mostly Arabs.
Okay.
And a mixture of the white nations that came in and conquered the area.
Now, did we not just read in Psalms, the 83rd chapter? Did we not just read that? Hold on. Where am I at? Did we not just read that in the 83rd chapter? The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. Did we not just read that? Of Moab. Come on, man. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up, man. This is ridiculous. Now, this is what else is saying. Oh, you had something else you were trying to say?
Shalaki, sir. No, I was going to say, yeah, because it's the Arabs and the so-called Jewish that's fighting over there right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, stop fighting. Like you said, we're already giving you money. Here goes 735 million more. And some people got mad at me because I said, oh, so now I understand Muslims a little better. So you pray to the rock and then go blow up kids. Oh, I get it.
Yeah. What it called? Mecca? That damn rock? That damn Kaaba song? Yeah. Hey, that's ridiculous, man. Yeah. You're right. It's a meteorite. That's what. Okay, so now I'm gonna just bring up this last thing about this little Asian hate crime bill. I want to point this out. I just want our brothers and sisters to realize something. I'm gonna just read this a little bit, and y'all tell me what you think. Whereas on March 10, 2020, Dr. Robert Redfield, the director of the CDC, testified that the use of the term Chinese coronavirus is wrong and inappropriate. And whereas the Secretary General of the United States, of the United Nations, called for international solidarity and an end of any ill-founded discrimination of the outbreak victims. Now, therefore, be it. I'm gonna just skip past all that. All this just saying is just talking about a discrimination. But we're actually gonna get into what this bill is actually saying, what it's actually preventing. Slovakia condemns all manifestations of expressions of racism, xenophobia, discrimination, anti-Asian sentiment, and ethnic or religious intolerance calls on federal law enforcement officials working with the states and local officials, because this is a hate crime. It's now a crime. So I believe now you could be charged. You got and I don't know exactly how severe those charges could be, but it's not an actual charge. So if you start discriminating in any towards way of a so-called Asian American, that's an actual thing now. It's an actual bill. Go ahead.
If I may, sir. Hate crimes are
A severe felony. There are anything associated with hate crimes have severe penalties.
Okay, so it's an actual felony. Okay, see, I didn't know.
See,
I didn't actually know. I didn't know.
Yeah, hate crimes is like you get more time for a hate crime. Like if you could commit a murder and it's considered a hate crime, you'll get more time than you would if it was just second-degree murder.
Good night, man. And this is what they're saying. And they're not even saying that if you. It's ridiculous, man. This is, and I got so much that I wanted to bring up too, and so many other articles, but I just don't have enough time. I mean, I ain't got but like 4 minutes left. I mean, I got so much I would like to bring out, but I just wanted to bring this out for my brothers and sisters so we could truly understand what this whole thing is about, man, and try to understand what we're dealing with these heathen nations of people. also as well about understanding what a law and grace is. And I like I said, and I'm gonna be back in the next few weeks. I'm gonna be going over some more things, bringing out some more articles. I got more stuff sitting right here that I just didn't have enough time to get to. So, but with that being said, I'm gonna now pass the club.
You got 3 more minutes.
No, you're right, young Zucker. I'm bad. I'm terrible. Oh, that's right. One thing before I go, I gotta make a quick announcement. Any. Oh yeah. Oh, really? Oh, so I didn't even know this. You made the food. Oh, I didn't know. Oh man. Hey, could we get the sister on camera real quick? If we could, we can't move. Okay, no sweat. But what's the name?
I'm Princess Kaya.
Kaya. Okay, Sister Kaya. What does that mean? Eve. Okay. Sister Kaya has done an excellent thing. She's done wonderful things for the brothers in Durham, North Carolina. She actually made some food for us tonight, which I will be eating as well. I'm very hungry. I don't work up an appetite. but she made, but the sister did a very wild thing tonight. She made some food for the brothers in class, while we were teaching. I kept trying to figure out what you was smacking on back there, man. Back there serving food. Good night. And speaking of food, we had a food drive this past Saturday here in Durham, North Carolina, 919. We just have so much food that's just left over. So if any brothers and sisters are in like the surrounding area, Raleigh, Durham, Fayetteville, please, text my phone or call me or call one of us, get in contact with Captain I.S.U.P.K or get in contact with Officer Arak, Officer Arak, who is in charge of the food drive. Get in contact with him. We have so much food. And we just have so much that we're not trying to throw away, man. We're just trying to get this food out to our people. We got so much. What was you about to say? Oh, okay. So like my bad. Slakia. Officer Yermak. Get in contact with Officer Yermak. He was a brother that was in charge of the food drive this past weekend. So if you were like any of these foods, just like I said, just call him or call Captain I.S.U.P.K, get in contact with one of them, and we will be sure to get that to you right away. Like I said, we just got boxes. If I could turn the camera around and show you, we got so much stuff and we ain't trying to throw this food away, man. But yeah. And is there anything else? Any other announcements I need to make real quick? What you about to say?
That's it.
Sister, what you about to say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say the white man is the devil.
Damn right. Damn right. He's always the devil. Always. And with that, I'm gonna pass the class over to Precinct Officer Yanazar.
Okay, we're gonna do security announcements.
Oh, you need a mic.
Oh, let me bring the mic up.
We still back there?
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, that'd be fine.
Shalom, my bad. Turn this off.
Bruh. 10% of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, Salakia. Free will offering for priest. Not mandatory. whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. As you know, or if you don't know, since the end of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, we've been in the 50-day period of the Feast of the First Fruits, which will culminate on June 21st with the celebration or the feast. Most High in Christ. Remind Akim and Aquatium to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and material. Also, we have several outlets, media outlets that put out the information, including number one is Black Watch, Cross the Line Radio, Unplugged from the Matrix here in Durham, North Carolina on Friday from 12 to 2. We have I.S.U.P.K Radio out in California. And there's other media events going on and social media events that I can't remember the name of at this particular moment. But these things are vital for getting, this is how I came into the I.S.U.P.K, because of these media outlets. You understand? This program that provided for all Israelites to see, all over the country. And we ask you to support all of them if you can. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, Amajim.